Okay, so real-world social networks provide a natural laboratory to study prosocial behavior. Friends help each other frequently and often substantially. In the 1985 General Social Survey, 55% of Americans report they first approach close friends and family members when they need to borrow a large sum of money. Callan, Mobis, Zale, and Rosblent, 2008. In 2007 UK YouGov survey, 48% of respondents reported lending on average 1,080 to friends and relatives during the past 12 months. Similarly, close friends and relatives are the predominant source of informal insurance against risk in developing countries. Economists have explored two main explanations of prosocial behavior: selfless altruism and expectations of reciprocal favors in future exchanges. Since people tend to interact frequently with friends toward whom they have the strongest altruism feelings, these mechanisms are difficult to distinguish empirically. In this paper, we used two online field experiments in real-world social network to solve this identification problem. Our design allows us to selectively switch off the reciprocity mechanism in some treatments and thereby separately measure the strength of the altruism and reciprocity mechanisms. The ability of our methodology to distinguish between these two mechanisms has several applications. For example, many researchers have documented that as societies transition to market economies, market transitions replace bilateral reciprocal exchanges, leading to decline in social capital. By using our diagnostic games to identify cultures where the social ties are either heavily reciprocity based or heavily altruism based, economists may be better able to explain differences in the social disruption caused by markets. Additionally, our finding described below, that the reciprocal mechanism only implies to transactions that are different, suggest a policy use of our techniques. Development programs like microfinance that use social ties to encourage lending and insurance may be most effective in communities where the social networks have a strong reciprocity component, because relationships based on trading efficiency, exchanging and enhancing favors may help direct resources towards efficient uses. Thus, policymakers could use experiments like ours to identify areas where intervention may be most effective. In our experiments, we distinguish three components of prosocial giving: baseline altruism toward randomly selected strangers, directed altruism that favors friends over random strangers, and giving motivated by the prospect of future interaction. We begin by directly measuring the social network of Howard and gradates to identify for each subject socially close direct friends, less close friends of friends, and socially distant strangers. We then conduct a series of online games where subjects make unliteral allocation decisions for several types of named partners and one nameless partner. Nameless partner. A randomly selected participant from the subject's dominatory. It's for previous sentence. The games are either modified dictator games, and as in Andreoni and Miller 2002, or a new helping game. Subjects make multiple decisions but are paid for one decision selected and random. For some decisions, neither participant is informed which of decision makers' choices was implemented. In these anonymous decisions, the difference in allocations between friends and strangers allows us to quantify the magnitude of directed altruism. In particular, we find that subjects send us of an average 52% more money to close friends than to strangers. We also demonstrate that giving to friends is strongly related to their decision makers, underlining baseline altruism towards nameless partners. For other decisions, both the decision maker and partner are informed which of the decision makers' choices was selected for payment. We use the difference between this non-anonymous and the anonymous treatment to measure the separate effect of future interaction on proposal behavior. We find that the nature of the future interaction effect depends crucially on the social welfare effects of professional behavior. When giving increases joint surplus, then subjects increase giving to friends relative to strangers by an additional 24